Thanks, Peter. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Paul Molloy, and ClearFlow is a commercial stage medical device company. We've raised $39 million to date. This is a D round for $15 million. Uses of cash is to expand our footprint for exit. We're on the last lap of commercialization. We have a seasoned team, a de-risked operation. We're in many of the world's large cardiovascular centers already with our device, which is a single-use catheter. And you'll see when I go through the slides that the IP portfolio covers not just cardiovascular catheters, but medical device catheters very broadly. So while our initial entry point has been cardiothoracic surgery, and that's where we're selling now, we'll do about $7 million this year, ship about 20,000 units. The broader opportunity here is to create a device for medical catheter clearance more broadly. This is just a snapshot for the VCs in the room to look at comps and exits. We looked at multiples for firms like ours growing 80 to 100% per year, gross margins of 80%. And really the last lap for firms at this level of maturity is to achieve a revenue milestone, which is accretive to these large public corporations. That could be 15, 20, $30 million. We're well on our way to doing that. Doubling is forecast year on year. And again, the money buys salespeople for the United States, access to our international markets, and our product pipeline. But we're looking at conservative $300 million valuations at the comps that we would express here. So pre-money for the D round is in the high 40s, and obviously that's negotiable with a large lead. Our internals will follow anybody taking a large piece of that $15 million. This is the management team. Hannah's our finance director, just recently came out of PricewaterhouseCoopers about 2 years ago. Stephen and Michael spent 16 years at Edwards and Merit and have professionalized our commercial organization. So we have a fully competent commercial team. Bottom right-hand corner, Ed Boyle is the cardiothoracic surgeon who is my partner. I'm the first CEO of the company. I met Ed in San Francisco at a JP Morgan event right after I sold my last company. I've exited 3 of the last 4 startups I've been involved in. 1, we lost all our money. I hope that doesn't put you off, but that happens. Al Diaz, bottom right-hand corner, 40 years, starting in Shiley and Pfizer. And then Sarah in regulatory and quality was an FDA auditor for 16 years. So this is really is a team that can get us to the finish line with some scaling. The problem we're solving, retained blood means medical catheters block and they leave fluid and blood in the body. When that happens, outcomes are deteriorated. You can see on the right-hand side the codes that you can analyze to look at how those complications emerge. It is a large market, just the US, 1.3 million procedures. That makes it $1 billion US market. This is the problem we resolve. Any surgeon or nurse will tell you this is what medical catheters look like after surgery when they're removed. And that blockage is really a failure mode. And our device is very simple. The first generation is a magnetically actuated catheter. It allows the nurse or the PA to remove clots and remove blood and fluid from the thorax without breaking the sterile field. And it comes in various sizes. All of these are already released and on sale. So we're going to ship lots of these this year. This is the next generation that part of the money will go towards. Gets the nurse out of it altogether. This is already built. Pigs are done. And we will be doing first in human in Canada in the next few weeks. It's a robotic sentry system. It'll have sensing and communication modes. And the duty cycle will clean the catheter without humans having to look at it. And there'll obviously be a warning system for letting the practitioner know when an intervention is necessary. The IP portfolio is issued. We have 31 issued patents in every major geography, another dozen in the pipeline. So pretty much every way that you can conceive of to maintain catheter tube patency is covered by us. That gives us a very, very strong grip on the medical catheter clearance market. And we expect this to put us in a strong competitive position for many years to come. Most of our patents are issued in the last couple of years, so they have a long life ahead of them. The economics of our device are strong. This is an independent analysis that's published. After device cost, we yielded $2,700 more for the cardiac reimbursement. And that means that per 1,000 hearts, a cardiac hospital can look at yielding an additional $2.5 million of income. So anybody like Cleveland Clinic looking at 14,000 cardiothoracic procedures a year can do the math on how to improve their bottom line. Cleveland Clinic is our second largest customer. We do about $300,000 a year with them right now. 6 surgeons in the main campus. We just published last year a first randomized controlled trial, strong p-values on excellent outcomes. Again, Louis Perot, well-published PhD cardiac surgeon. I won't go through the line item details here out of respect for the time we have, but this device is well validated. And that's the cover of the Annals of Thoracic Surgery from January 18, which illustrates the biology of retained blood. Basically, hemoglobin-induced oxidative stress, white cell recruitment causes myocardial tissue damage as well as organ damage elsewhere. So we remediate that, and in doing so, we provide both a clinical benefit and an economic benefit. There's multiple peer-reviewed articles to demonstrate that as well. And as a result of this overwhelming basis of evidence, last May at AATS, the Enhanced Recovery Society for Cardiac Surgery had its guidelines published in JAMA Surgery, and we are now recommended for maintaining chest tube patency as a guideline from that society. So we're well positioned for growth. That's just a dot map of some of our major customers. We just started at UCLA this week. USC Keck just signed up. We'll be training them. University of Kiel just placed a $55,000 order in Germany. We're starting in Nijmegen and Groningen in the Netherlands. In short, this is a company that's poised for an exit if we can grow our revenues to $20 or $30 million. And the funds that we're raising here will build out our pipeline as well as increase our sales force. So what does that pipeline look like? Well, we're already in the cardiothoracic market. We're only 6 or 7% into that in terms of penetration, so plenty of legway there. But I mentioned at the start that the IP portfolio covers medical catheters broadly. So where else do catheters block? Well, think about chronic inflammatory diseases like hepatitis. Think about cancer, ascites, and effusions. Think about peritoneal dialysis, urology catheters, even feeding tubes. We have engineering and IP around all of those, and so the platform for the company is medical catheter clearance. And some of the cash out of that $15 million raise will go into developing our first generation catheter to compete with Becton Dickinson's Pleurex system in the cancer, hepatitis, and effusion space. So we're well poised to generate that revenues. And again, the multiples I showed you, the 6 to 8x, is based on our cardiothoracic devices only. So we are quite optimistic that we can exceed that $300 million valuation in the next 3 years. This is the list of the growth priorities and the uses of cash. I'd be happy to talk to you afterwards in one of the debrief rooms. We have a data room open. We're fully FDA audited and CE marked. Our financials are independently audited by Haskell & White, and the company is fit and ready for due diligence should you be interested. So I've got a couple of minutes to spare, and I'll yield the floor. Thank you.